going to put on my radio voice. Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network. Deb, I appreciate you being here and being so patient. I am going to move over and officially say for the next 15 minutes, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Kevin. Can you add key into this broadcast as well, or is that not possible?
Oh, anything is possible, I tell you. And of course,
Okay,
I
see
will
what you can do.
I will do just that.
Oh, there she is.
All the way from Sweden.
All the way from Sweden. Welcome, Key. Hi. We're trying to figure out how to get us all in here.
Just give me 1 second. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So
okay.
just
I know you've got this under control.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing excellent. How are you?
You know
Thank
what?
you for having me.
Oh, it is my pleasure to have you here, and thank you for accepting. We really appreciate you being here, okay?
Thank you.
Well, did you want us to get started, Kevin?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
All right. Okay. Hi, I'm Deb Birdsall, and this is my granddaughter, Lili. Slide in there, Lili. There you go. And Lili and I have written a book, and it's called Overcoming My Mother's Addictions, which is about the first 11 years of her life and the challenges that she has faced and lessons. There we go. That'll work. And the lessons that she has learned because of she has had to learn because of her mother's choice to use drugs. This is what our book looks like. And you can find it on Kevin's website on GMAP1.com, which you're looking at now, most likely. And then this is our friend Key. And as Key said, she lives in Sweden. And Key is an author as well. She has written a book called Walk Tall. And this book is about how to build self-confidence. He and Lili and I are on a mission. We are on a mission. And as you saw at the beginning with that lighthouse and that beacon, our mission is to become a beacon of hope for our children. Because so many children today are facing physical, emotional, and mental difficulties. They are going through terrible experiences in their life because of choices that others are making. And because of those experiences, they're struggling to find their path in life. So this book, Overcoming My Mother's Addictions, not only shares the traumatic things that Lili's gone through, but it also, at the end of the book, talks about what we're calling Lili's life lessons. And there are 12 lessons where she shares what she has learned and how she has been able to move beyond the trauma and into the grace of God and creating a better future for herself. So we're on a mission, aren't we, Key? Aren't we, Lili?
Absolutely. We're on a mission and we want to instill hope. We want to give tools. And we would like to see our teens and children to develop themselves to where they want to go in life and to set their goals.
Exactly. And the way that we are trying to bring this mission to the world is we have created a program based on those 12 lessons that Lili has learned to help her move forward. And our program is called, there's a lot of alliteration here, Lili's Life Lessons, Family Fun for a Fantastic Future. You can blame me for that. I'm the one that came up with that.
That's actually a great name, Deb, because that is perfect. That's exactly what it is. When you are feeling comfortable, when you're moving the direction that you feel comfortable to move in, then you are happy and you can have a lot of fun in life.
Exactly. So today, this segment is we're going to talk a little bit about what we share in Lili's life lesson number 1, And over here, wiggling her eyes around, is Lily. And she's going to actually tell us what life lesson number one is and what that means to her. So take the floor. I'm going to move out of the way while you go ahead and slide in there and do this.
I can see you both.
Well, hey, I'm Lily. And life lesson number one is the understanding factor. The understanding factor is I have no control over what other people say or do. The things they do or say have nothing to do with me. People act the way they do because of what has happened in their lives. That is true because people, like, they basically react instead of respond. And so they act out from what has happened in their past and what has been done to them instead of responding, like talking about what happened just then, because people don't think, like, sometimes they think, but most of the time they don't really think, and they just react. And they since they react, then you get mad, and then you guys get into an argument instead of talking it out.
But don't
So
you
does
feel
any
good afterwards, Lily, when you have responded instead of reacting? Doesn't it feel good?
Yes, it's better than to react, because if you react, then you're gonna get mad, and then you're gonna end up really mad. But if you respond, you're not gonna end up mad, and you guys are going to end up at on a good term.
Yes.
So let's talk about the difference key between reacting and responding, because those two words come from two different places within inside of each one of us. Okay, reacting is always comes from a place of emotion. Okay, and we don't tend to engage our brains when we react, but respond is the word for responsible. And when we respond, what do? We give thought, right, to what it is that we're going to say. And this understanding factor that Lily is talking about really helps us to see that we need to stop when somebody says something hateful or hurtful to us. We need to stop, and we need to really ask ourselves a question inside our minds before we even open our mouth. And that is,
Mm.
why is this person acting the way that they're acting? What are some of the things that could cause somebody to say something or hurtful to somebody, Lily?
What do you mean by that? Like,
Well, why? Where are they coming from?
well, their past might have some, like, yelling in it, and some, like, fighting and stuff, like fist fighting and slapping each other. So if their past comes from, like, yelling or something, and you yell at them, or you think you're not yelling, but to them you are yelling, then that triggers them, and then they go into, like, defense mode, and they start yelling back
Exactly.
And
or fighting back.
And sometimes it's just that people are having a bad day, right? I mean, yeah, we all, well,
but it's
I
so
never do,
important,
I?
Deb and Lily. I think one thing is really important here, and that's actually another person's thoughts. It's not your thoughts. What that person think and make up in his or her head is not what you are. You have your own thoughts about situations, about who you are. So don't let other people's thoughts and comments affect you, because their thoughts are there and your thoughts are yours. You have to make a difference between them and you. So don't let their thoughts rule your life. That's an important thing, to make that difference. That's not what you think, that's what they think. That's
Yeah, and
that's
you have
that's
to
really
make
important.
sure that whatever they say to you doesn't affect you, because if it affects you, then you're going to be thinking about it a lot, and you need to be thinking about your own thoughts, not somebody else's
Yes,
thoughts.
Yeah,
exactly.
so true. Because people are pretty good at pushing our buttons.
Yeah.
And we all
And
know
you
what
just want to
happens when you push
boom.
a button, right? Exactly. Something happens when you push a button. the TV goes on if you push a button. Yeah. These things, when somebody personally pushes our buttons, and the people that are closest to us, Key, are always the ones that are the best at pushing our buttons, aren't they? For some reason, they know us better and they know which buttons that they can push. And so we have to be so cautious to not allow ourselves to just react, because when we do, it just escalates situations. And so being responsible and responding really comes from a place of love, and it comes from a place of willingness to understand and accept perhaps that the other person they're just having a bad day, or they've had a bad experience in their life, and they're
So they
they're
try to load over that experience on you, and
yeah, they're
don't
trying
let
to
that
push it on
happen.
you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
make a difference between yourself and the other person. Make
Mm,
that difference. Take a step back and make that difference.
that's right. And we can choose whether or not we're going to let them put that on us. And that's one of the lessons that we teach in Lily's life. Well, that's Lily's life lesson number one, that we do not have to take on other people's negative emotional energy. We do not have to allow ourselves to be uh, damaged or frustrated or angry and ruin our day because somebody else is having a bad day. So, Lily, if somebody were to say something hateful to you, okay, like if they were to call you ugly, let's say, what would you tell them? How would you respond to that instead of reacting? I mean, if you responded, what could you do? Punch them in the nose, right?
Yeah. You mean reacted?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, reacting. Thank you. Yeah, see, you fixed me. If you were reacting, what would you do? You might want to just punch them in the nose and say, "How dare you say that to me?" But instead, what could you say if somebody said, "Lily, you are so ugly"?
Well, like, I have different responses to that depending on the person. Like, so some of my friends are like, we like to joke. We don't. Yeah, we like to joke around. They're like, "Oh my goodness, you're so ugly." I'm like, "Thank you, I know."
Well, that's when they're joking. What if
But
they're
like,
actually being mean?
but like, if they're serious, I'm like, I'll still do. I'm still like, "Thank you, I know, thanks." I don't really care. Thanks.
And
And
most
That's
then,
of
my
the
problem, not
times,
yours.
and
you
then
can
you just
feel
say,
sorry about them
yeah, and
because
then you just
they
say,
carry something and they need to put it out there.
yeah.
So most of the times is you should feel sorry for people that talk like that to others.
Right. So we can make light of it. And what Lily just demonstrated is that we can make light of it when somebody says something hurtful to us. That's a good way to respond. And then, or you could look them in the eye. And what is it you tell people when somebody says to you, "Lily, you're so beautiful"? What do you say?
I know I am because God only makes beautiful people.
Exactly. And you could say that same thing if somebody said, "Oh, you're so ugly." You could say, "No, that's not true, because God only makes beautiful people." And when we do that, then it turns the whole situation around.
Hmm.
So, Key, talk to us about confidence, self confidence, and how that plays into whether or not we react or respond in a certain situation.
A lot. I mean, if you're calm and if you're confident, you're also able to take a step back. When you don't know how to act and you're insecure, that's when you're feeling stress in situations. And if you're confident, uh, it's easier to relax and take a step back. And confidence often comes from structures and models, which we teach in the lesson, in Lily's life lessons. Deb and I have different structures and models that you can work with yourself, and you feel more and more confident, like the confidence stairs from my book Walk Tall. We work with it, and we work with other models and tips so that you can build your confidence. And when you feel more secure and confident, well, you don't have to jump up and punch people, and you don't have to react like that. because you feel, you're familiar with the situation, you know how to act, you have a structure for it, and you know what the outcome will be if you use this structure. That makes you feel a lot better. Trust me. I say like Lili say now, trust me. That's what you usually say, Lili. Trust me. It helps me. Trust me. So yeah,
Do you
pretty
say that?
much. You need
Trust me.
to train to be confident, and everyone can do it. We're showing you that.
Right, right. So if Lily, if some other kids were having problems in their home, and say they're a situation where their parents maybe got angry with them and didn't really for no good reason, what would you tell them? How would you help them to better understand how to handle the situation in the future?
I would just say, um, there's different ways. Well,
Go
my
ahead.
ways. Well, one of the ways is just, I know it's not a good way, but like it's my way. I isolate myself and I don't talk to people and I just go into my room and
Yeah.
leave everybody
And that's
alone.
not a healthy way to do it, is it? No.
For me, it is.
Yeah, yeah. For a little while it might be, but you're
That's
right.
the room with a sign on the door.
Yeah. stopping and removing yourself from the situation when it's a bad situation is a good thing to do. It absolutely is for a short period of time. It's not something you want to do forever, but it is something that you can do for a short period
Well,
of time.
I'm gonna do it until I'm dead. So
Oh, there you go. And of course the best way to do it is just to de-escalate, because what happens with energy is when you push against something, then the opposing force wants to push back. But if you step back and you don't push against it, they don't have anything to push against. And so instead of it being all of this anger and screaming between people, it ends up being calm, and somebody has to stop and look at it and say, okay, maybe I need to just calm down here for a little bit and then we'll revisit it.
depends. Not all people do that.
No, not all people do, but we need to give them the opportunity to do that.
And you
Most
can't,
people
there will
won't.
never be a fight if one person doesn't fight. Think about that. If one person doesn't fight, how can there be a fight?
There can't be a fight. That's
No,
exactly
it
right.
can't.
People
So
still
just calm
argue.
down, and things will sort of solve itself so much better.
Yeah, that's right. Because it takes two. It does take
Yeah,
two to
absolutely.
argue. It takes two to fight. If
Not really.
yes, really.
And it doesn't serve you.
I
It
can
doesn't serve
argue
you to
with
fight.
my dog and my dog doesn't talk back, so technically no. Just saying.
Lily has an answer for everything.
But that's perfect.
See, she does.
Lili's
She has
life lessons. You'll be sitting answering questions all day when we get started.
exactly. So we have the blessing, the absolute blessing of being able to share this message and share these insights with children. And we're reaching out to grandparents that are raising grandchildren. We're reaching out to foster parents. We are reaching out to teachers and counselors and people who work with children that have dealt with adverse childhood experiences. And in our upcoming lessons, our upcoming segments, we're going to be taking lessons 2 through 12 and sharing a little bit about that. But if you want to know more about it right now, you don't have to wait until we get all 12 lessons out there and recorded for you. You can just go to our website, which is, hey, the dog's barking in the background. See, you can never plan for these things.
I got
Which
a cat
is
here, but his voice is not as loud.
DebBirdsall.com, DebBirdsall.com /courses. And that is about all we need to share with you right now. Key, thanks for joining us today. Abby, the dog,
You're
is
welcome.
joining us today. Life is unpredictable, and this is a good example of how unpredictable life is.
Absolutely.
And we will catch you in our next lesson next week. So thanks for joining us. Kevin, are you there?
Absolutely, and God bless you. And I want to thank her so much for being here as well. I look forward to hearing
You're
much
welcome.
more
Thank
from
you.
you. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. I know it's probably bedtime for you, but you
For
have a,
me, it will be bedtime soon.
yeah,
I was told to be here for a while, so
and we appreciate that. Once again, we thank you so much for being here. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. Thank you, and of course, stop by our platform. Your publication also has been placed on our network for additional informational purposes. We look forward to
thank you
hearing
so
from you.
much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And you continue to have a blessed day, and we shall see you soon, okay?
Thank you. The same to you. Blessings to you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, we're going to dive right in, and we are so grateful to have her. And now we are so extra grateful to make sure that we allow Deb and Lily to come back on and just kind of share with us the purpose and goals of this awesome, awesome new publication that they have available. And I understand that there's so much more going on that I just can't imagine. But before I do any of that, I have to allow you the opportunity to simply go over and introduce yourself once again. Who are you? Where you're from? And of course, we want to give you, Deb, and Lily the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. Again, my name is Deb Birdsaw, and I am Lily's grandmother. And actually, Lily's grandmother, mother, that's what I call myself because we adopted Lily almost, well, it'll be 2 years in October. And Lily is an amazing young woman.
We all know that already.
And humble. She's a humble young woman as well. And Lily and I, um, we're on a mission. We're on a mission, Kevin. We really want to help bring healing to the world and to the young people in the world right now. And in alignment with that, when I say we're on a mission, I mean this is a God-given mission. This is not something that I just made up one evening. Actually, it did happen in the evening. It was about 3:33 in the morning.
That's not the evening. That is morning.
That is morning. And I woke up
Every kid's up at that time, just so you know.
with the absolute knowing that I was going to write a book, and this book was going to be written from the voice and perspective of Lily. And the book is called Overcoming My Mother's Addictions. Oop, there we go. Turn it the right way. And Lily ended up collaborating with me on this book. This
because you don't know a lot of it.
This book is shares the experiences that Lily has gone through in the first 11 years of her life, and really the first 10 years of her life, where she was very displaced. She lived with 10 different families, or, yeah, no, with 4 different families, 8 different times. I'll get this right. 4 different
11
families.
times.
Okay. See, Lily likes to argue with me, Kevin, because this is what she says. I say, Lily, don't argue with me. And what do you say?
I'm not arguing. I'm just explaining why I'm right. And I counted it when I was with my counselor.
Okay. So she's lived with different families.
4 different families, 11 different times.
In the first
12 years of my life.
Which is a lot. That's a lot.
Not really. Not to me.
So our purpose in writing this book is to help children who are dealing with similar situations as what Lily has had to deal with. And what she's dealt with is the trauma that she's experienced because of her mother's choice to use drugs. Her mother, my daughter, is has had many challenges in life too, and she started using drugs when she was about 11 years old. And I didn't know it till she was about 17, because addicts are masterful at hiding things. And I thought it was depression. I thought it was anxiety. I tried to get her help. I didn't realize until I got a call from my son when my daughter was 17 that he was afraid she was going to overdose from morphine. Talk about being shocked, absolutely shocked. And so Lily and her sisters were all born addicted to the drugs that her
Some
mom
worse
was
than
using.
others.
Yeah, some worse than others. And because of that, and the active addiction of their mom being in and out of their lives and creating a lot of drama and a lot of trauma. Lily is like most of the kids out there with similar situations, and that is that she's dealing with things like PTSD.
Depression, anxiety, ADHD, a little bit of anger issues, or a lot of anger issues. But and
So tell us your
a lot
story.
more.
Yeah. So tell us your story and why you feel that it's important that we're doing this work, Lily. You don't know? You don't know why we're doing this work?
Well, I mean, I do, but like, I can't like put it in words. You know?
Well, let
'Cause
me
I'm
ask
not
you this.
smart enough to do that.
Let me ask you this. Is there any form of peer pressure from some of the individuals that you go to school with, some of your friends? Is it some? I mean, do they approach you or talk about you in any way about the work or the? I guess you can say the traumas that you've been through over the years. Is there some hidden uh, discussions about what you've been through at all?
Uh, no. Well, at my old school in Alabama, everybody would love to hear about my story and stuff. They're just so surprised about it. But here, it's like everybody has basically the same background, and so it's not as much as a challenge. But since I have a little more than others in my school, then they like start rumors about like my past and then make it more than it actually was. So yeah.
Now, how do you deal with that? I mean, what's your? Let me see how I can ask it. What's your? How do you deal with it? I mean, what's your route to go back and say, you know, I can talk to God, I can talk to Lily, I can talk to a friend. How do you deal with situations when people or individuals kind of talk about you behind your back?
Um I just say they can talk about me all they want. Like, it's probably something in their life that they don't want to talk about, and that they're just like a little bit jealous of me because I can talk about it because I've gone through it, and I know that it's okay that like lots of people have trauma and stuff like that. And it's fine with me. That's how they get rid of it. But one day they'll realize that's not that it's bad to talk about other people, but they can use me because I know I'm strong enough to like handle it and stuff. I don't really care. But other people do care, so when they talk about other people, then I do get like really mad.
Mm,
And that's why they talk behind my back and
yeah.
not to my face, because like I get really mad really easily.
Wow. Well,
Lily shared with us recently what the dynamics are, the family dynamics are in the school. Lily, in your sixth grade class, Lily's in sixth grade. In your sixth grade class, how many, there's about 40 students, somewhere just
30.
30, 35,
35.
somewhere around there. How many of those kids actually live in a home with both their mom and their dad living in the home?
Um, about like 2 to 1 people.
One or two
Yeah.
students actually live in a home where both their mom and dad live in that home with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many of them are living in a home where they're living with their grandparents, but either mom or dad live there?
I don't know. Like 0.
Oh,
None
what?
of them live with one parent and grandparents
Okay, but some of them live with just one parent,
and
right?
switch houses like
And
every week.
and go from one house to the next, back to the other again.
It's actually really stressful. Technically, I've been through all of them. I've lived with my grandparents. I've lived with one parent and then switched each like week or every other day or something like that. And then I've lived with both parents. Well, not biological, one biological and then the other step. But like, yeah, I've gone through all of them. And that one's the worst, is to live with one parent and switch because they have different rules and then they act different and then you get used to one and then you have to switch and then you're not used to it and then you get used to it and then you switch again.
Wow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And then Lily, too, at one point had a family that wanted to adopt her, and that adoption fell through just 2 days before it was scheduled to take place. So, talk about a lot of trauma and a lot of disappointment in life, and a lot of trying to figure out where your place is in life, right?
Technically not a disappointment because I was already used to it by the first disappointment. So like whenever something happens, I don't get disappointed anymore. I'm just like, okay.
Now, looking at the publication, Overcoming, how is it that there can be support from all of the viewers and listeners around the world? Is there a process that they need to go through? How is it that some of our viewers and listeners can receive a copy of your current publication?
Well, the best way to do it is go on Amazon and search "Overcoming My Mother's Addictions," and it'll pop up.
Or on Kindle.
It is available through Amazon as an ebook form on Kindle as well. But more than anything, Kevin, what we want to do is we want to make people aware that although this book really helps people to have a better understanding of what children are facing, and it will bring up the emotions for the children if they read it as well. And it's designed for the kids to read as well, or the adults to read with the children. Um, we realize that just reading that and bringing up those emotions could actually cause more harm than good if we didn't provide an avenue for the kids to be able to learn how to move beyond the adverse childhood experiences that they've gone through. So Lily and I and Key, our friend Key, have put together a program that's called Lily's Life Lessons, Family Fun for a Fantastic Future. And there are the 12 lessons that are in the book, and it's 12 lessons, 1 week each lesson, that adults can work with the children and help to teach them the techniques and the tools to not only move beyond the trauma that they have experienced, but also to be able to move forward with goal setting and creating good support systems, with being able to recognize the actions and attitudes of other people. One of the lessons is on gratitude. One of the lessons is on forgiveness. These are all things that God teaches us to do. And unfortunately, a lot of these kids have lived in homes where they didn't realize that life could be any different.
Yeah.
That's all they've ever known.
Right.
And so, what we want to do is we really do want to be that beacon of hope for children. And we want the adults to better understand that when the kids are acting out, the question isn't, "What's wrong with you, kid?" The question really is, "What has happened to you, child, that would make you act this way?" And by doing that, we're creating a compassionate care environment, as opposed to one where there is this pushing back and forth between, and the frustration and the anger, and feeling like you're not making any progress or giving up. So our focus is a very positive, faith-based focus. And Lily, the last lesson is that Lily talks about is that God only makes beautiful people.
Right. Wow.
And every one of these children out there are a child of God, and they deserve to have every opportunity in life.
Right.
And Lily is a great demonstration of that. She is the one who helps us to understand that it doesn't matter what you have gone through up until this point in your life. What really matters is, where do we go from here?
Right.
And how do we get there? And that's why we have put this lesson, this series of lessons, this program together, is in order to give very specific help to these children so that they can move forward and be a positive influence in other people's lives and live a blessed life themselves.
Amen. Well, I know that there are going to be quite a few viewers and listeners who are going to want and are going to show their love, care, concern, and support. Before I let you go, what I want you to do is really share in detail how you can be connected with, how people could reach you and or Lili. Maybe they want to talk with you on more of an individual basis to find out how they can deal with whatever it is in life they may be going through, how they can overcome the challenges. How is it that you can be reached and connected with on a more individual basis, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh no, of course we would love to hear from people and know better how to help them. How we can help you if you have questions, if you want more information, is to go to our website, which is my author's website. It's www.birdsall.com, and there's a contact me tab there that you can go to and it'll send us an email, and we'd be happy to respond to you.
What if they want to contact me?
And you can contact Lili through that as well if you have questions for Lili. But if you want to know how you can help us with our mission, let's say that you don't have any children that you're raising that are in this situation. If you know of groups or families that we can get in front of and share this message with, please, by all means, reach out through the same avenue. Reach out, get the book, read the book. You'll get a better feel for what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Take a look at our website. It's very comprehensive. And if you go to the courses tab, you'll learn more about the courses. And then if you can tell us or invite us to Zoom with you, if you have a support group meeting, a grandparent support group meeting, an addiction support group meeting, because these lessons are very good for even those that are working through being able to move into recovery. In fact, Kevin, I have exciting news to share with you.
What is
and
that?
that is that Lily's mom has read this
I
book.
want her to say it. I want to say it.
Oh, Lili wants to say it. Okay, you say it.
So, mom has read through the book and had like a long time ago, and then she went back to jail, right? And then after that, she got out of jail, right? And then she went to recovery place, right? And then it's been over 60 days, and she's been over 60 days clean.
Wow.
Off of drugs.
For the first time in 22 years.
Wow.
So prayers
she's,
are
32 now.
Yeah, she's 32. Prayers are absolutely answered. The book was a motivating factor for her to see the effect that her choices have made. And she is now in a halfway house. She has a job. She just got a car, and
she has money finally.
She has turned to God for her healing and is working the process. And we are so very excited to announce that, because that was one of our goals, was that perhaps people struggling with addiction might read this and say, you know what, I don't want to do this to my kids anymore. And decide to move into a place of permanent recovery. And if that happens, then families can be reunited, and we can bring blessings to the world beyond anything that we might be able to do on an individual basis.
Well, I do, before I let you go, want to share this with you. And I'm going to be inviting Lili back soon and very soon, as well as hopefully we may even be able to talk with her mom on the GMAP broadcast network. We are preparing to start a weekly road to recovery. And what that means is it's not going to be on camera. It's going to be via phone. And we want people to come in, share their story, share what they've been through, what they're going through. We want to help people. AANACA, whatever the A is, we want to be able to help people by giving them a platform, because you can't really go to a group these days and get all together in one big room. So you have to do or find out what's available for them. So every week, beginning in February, on hopefully Monday and Friday at 7 p.m., we're going to encourage, share, give testimonies. We're going to have what we call Road to Recovery here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, and we definitely want Lili to come in at some point just to be our special guest speaker. So she might as well go ahead and prepare for that because we're going to be inviting her to do just that. Until next time.
I don't know. I might have to check my schedule.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I know you're a busy young lady, so, you know, we're going to squeeze you in somewhere anytime, even if it's 5 minutes. We're going to take advantage of it. So I kid you, we appreciate you both. Deb, we're looking forward to having you back on next week. Thank you so very much for your patience and being here with us today, allowing us to be a part of your journey, and of course, accepting the invitation to be a part of the GMAP family. God bless you both. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your afternoon. Until next week, you continue to be blessed and be a blessing to others, okay?
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for doing the work you're doing.
ABC me crying, mama make me smile, rock me in your arms a little while. ABC me crying, won't you love your child? EFG, I'm sorry, Daddy, take my hand. Tell me what I've done so bad. EFG, I wonder why